Morning, afternoon, everybody. I'm just letting everybody in the session. Bear with me a moment. Okay, so welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be with us today. My name's Charlotte, if you've not met me before. I am one of the educators at the IIAA, and I'm actually the senior educator for ETEL. With me today, I also have the lovely Nush. She is a makeup artist, and she's also head of ETEL. And then we have the lovely Dr. Gaby, who's a scientist and also our medical director at the IIAA. So today we really wanted to bring you onto the session to really dig a little bit deeper into the formulation of ETEL. You know, there's so many brands out there now that are trying to do the hybrid of skincare and makeup together. And we really wanted to come on here today and look at the key differences of why ETEL is different and how we achieve the ultimate skincare goal and integrate that with makeup. So we have a few questions that I'm going to ask Nush and Dr. Gaby as we go through. So the first question is, what challenges, guys, did you face when you were formulating ETEL and you were looking at the skincare element and formulating the makeup and making sure that you've got a high performance makeup with a fantastic skincare product as well?
I'm going to let you take that one first, Gaby. And don't say I was one of the challengers. She might think, no.
It was definitely a fun and challenging journey.
Yeah.
With lots of debate.
Yes.
But I think that found important to just set the foundation. And the foundation is our goals in terms of what we want to achieve. So it's really important to us, firstly, that our makeup performs as a makeup and a cosmetic.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then also that we contain skincare actives at functional levels. And then, of course, we've got our rather strict blacklist because we don't want to include anything that's bad for the environment, or potentially bad for us.
Yeah.
So this kind of formulating is very new to pretty much all manufacturers. And that's why we had challenges, because we set such lofty goals.
Yeah, I think Gaby's hit the nail on the head. I think the biggest surprise and biggest challenge for us was we were going to renowned manufacturers across Europe and, you know, really hand selecting them. And they work with the biggest brands in the industry you could think of. And I think the biggest surprise for us was they just had never formulated the way we wanted to. And we weren't just challenging ourselves and we weren't just asking ourselves difficult questions. We were asking them difficult questions and their chemists difficult questions. And when you're doing that, you're almost all on this new journey together that you've not done before, they've not done before. And I think that was one of the biggest challenges. I mean, it was the most rewarding part as well, I think. But it was really difficult because, you know, we'd sit down and we'd have these complex conversations with formulators and they'd be like, we're not used to not using that specific ingredient. That is, you know, usually the core of a base of a foundation or of a concealer. So, you know, when you start drilling down into the core ingredients that go into just base formulas of makeup products across the industry, and we're saying we'd rather not use them, that is a very different world for a chemist to go into when they've been doing something a certain way for their whole career. And so I think that was the hardest part.
Yeah. And one of the examples, recently, in fact, in the last couple of weeks, one of our manufacturers actually thanked us.
Yeah, they did actually.
Because one of the things we want to exclude are pigs.
Yeah.
Because we know that pigs are petroleum based and there's lots of debate and lots of information that's saying they're not necessarily the best for us. So we really pushed all of our manufacturers to formulate without pigs.
Yeah.
And they came to us and said, thank you so much for being so pedantic about not using pigs, because it now means that they're ahead of the curve in terms of what the industry is looking for.
Yeah, and that's really rewarding for us as a brand as well. You know, we are a small brand, we're a brand new brand. So to actually have someone turn around and say thank you for pushing us and challenging us when it wasn't that smooth a journey up until that point, and they weren't so thankful on the journey, but when we got to the end of it, they were like, actually, we've achieved something so amazing. And that was actually in line with our Radiant Foundation formula. So, you know, those of you that have tried it, it's such a gorgeous texture and Gaby, for anyone that might not know what a PEG is or might not know what it does for a formula, how would you describe the function of that particular ingredient in a formula?
Yeah. Well, PEGs really help to create a smooth, silky texture.
Yeah.
They also help to sort of enhance penetration of various actives. So the challenge is when you want to create a formula that has a smooth, silky texture, how do you do that without using a PEG?
Yeah. But as you guys know, our Radiant Foundation is so silky and it's so smooth and it's got that gorgeous serum-like texture, and we managed to achieve it and they managed to achieve it with us, and it was so, so nice when we got to the end to have such an incredible product that adhered to everything we were trying to achieve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's my hero product is the Radiant Foundation.
Is it?
Wearing it today, of course, always.
Glowing.
Okay, thank you. So, moving on to like another question.
Can I wants to add something?
You know when to kind of worms. So I think looking back to what I said earlier in terms of what's important to us, I think one of the other really big challenges we had comes to the level of actives we include and including actives at functional levels. So if you look at a formula, there's only so much amount of space. And we take up a lot of that space with the ingredients that create the sensorial effect and the performance of the cosmetic, the pigments, but then we're also bringing in function or skincare actives at functional levels.
Yeah.
And these start to react.
Yeah.
And we found with one of our products, our powder foundation, it performed beautifully. And with every product, you have to do a stability test to ensure that it works in the packaging and it works over time. But what we found after the completion of the stability test is we started getting crystallization.
Yeah.
And this is because some of the actives were reacting. So then at one point after that, we had 110 different trials to try and work out what was reacting with what. So we were super proud when
it was like a process of elimination, wasn't it?
Exactly.
We had to run, because we had so many different actives in, we had to run all these different trials, but you're not just running it on one shade necessarily. You have to make sure that your levels of pigments aren't impacting it. So you're trying to do it on a range of shades as well. And it's like, it's all these things that you don't realize go into product development until you do it. And yeah, we had I think it was 110, wasn't it? We had 110 different things going on, different trials running on this one product, so that we could make sure that it was stable, it was compatible with all of our pieces of packaging that we were doing. Because again, they are so different to the traditional pieces of packaging as well. The material compositions are so different. We had to, it all has to kind of fit together, like all the little building blocks and jigsaw puzzle pieces have to fit together and work.
And we're not willing to compromise.
Yeah. I think, and again, I think a lot of manufacturers, you know, they think you might compromise a little bit at some point, and they'll be like, oh, well, what if we do this, and what if we just add a little bit of that? And they're not used to people saying, no, actually, we really do want to adhere to this. They're used to people saying, oh yeah, we can get away with that, we'll bend a little bit here. And we tried not to do that as best as possible, and tried to really kind of stay true to ourselves and the brand. And we got there in the end.
And we have these challenges with every product.
Yeah,
and
we
will continue to persevere and get there.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then another question really is like thinking about the science element of everything. So how do you integrate the science research into the development process when you were bringing Epel to market?
That's such a chunk of the process, actually.
Yeah.
And Gaby spends hours and hours, don't you? Days.
I suppose it's a back and forth, and it's a working together.
Yeah.
We start by deciding what it is that we want to achieve. So what's our cosmetic performance? What do we want this makeup to do? And then we decide what do we want it to do from a cosmetic perspective, but what do we want it to do from a skincare perspective? Then we start to review the science. What actives would help us to achieve the benefit? How do the actives work together? Because we have a solid understanding of skin physiology. So we want to choose actives that target different processes in the skin, so we get that benefit, and actives that work together to get the maximum benefit. And we want each product to work together, so we get the best possible benefits.
Yeah, and I think the key thing there is, you know, our brand ambassadors across the UK and Ireland, they are skincare professionals. So we have to make sure that these products are delivering what the expectation would be from a skincare professional. So yes, it's great makeup, but you know, when I start looking at what are we going to bring out next, and I say to Gaby, this is what I want to do, and this is what I want it to do from a skin function perspective, I have to really put myself in the shoes of everyone that's on this call with us today and think, how are they going to fit it into their businesses and into what they're already offering in terms of services and all the amazing results they're already achieving with their clients? How can we enhance that, and how can we protect those results and you know, really reinforce those results for them? And those are the conversations we have behind the scenes, because at the end of the day, that's the main purpose of the brand, and that is what makes us so unique. Because like you said at the beginning, Shah, I think it's so amazing that brands now are really trying to incorporate skincare and makeup and are doing more hybrid formulations and things. But the way we do it and what we do differently is what Gaby touched on, and it's the percentage of the active. It is what we choose not to put in that formula, and it's also the synergy of it all working together. That is what makes us so unique to what's out there already. And we know we could take an off-the-shelf formula with skincare actives in it. You know, we could say, yeah, it's got hyaluronic acid in it, it's got niacinamide in it. That does not mean that they are in there functioning to the level we need them to function to perform to our expectation as et al. And as IIA. So we're not going to deliver a mediocre product to our skincare professionals, because then they don't have the confidence to deliver an amazing product to their clients. So it really does start with, it's almost a back to front way of thinking of, okay, what is it they need? How are they going to incorporate it into what they're doing already? And then how can we deliver that? So we take a bit of a back to front thinking on it as well.
And then, and actually, I suppose that's what's led to lots of debates. The artistic side, this is what I want to achieve, and the scientists saying, we can't do that one.
And then the manufacturer coming along going, you definitely can't do that. We're like, no, we have to.
That was the next question. Like, how did you bring the balance of artistry and science there to kind of brand operate?
It's hard. I mean, we work really well together. You know, Gaby's amazing at what she does, and I would never pretend to be able to do what she does. And she allows me to do what I do well. And yeah, there's points where we debate, but I actually think debate is really healthy, because sometimes we get to a point where we would never have got without one another. So it's actually really, really important, because I can't think like Gaby. I can't do it.
And I can't think like you.
Exactly. So you have to kind of like, I have so much respect for what she brings in that I would never be so stubborn as to be like, I'm not moving on a certain point. So
and I think, as you say, that's what creates such an amazing product or range, because we're coming from those different perspectives. We're including the artistry and we're including the science.
Yeah, for sure.
No, amazing.
But sure, one more thing I wanted to add.
I keep cutting you off, I apologize.
Another area where we bring in the science that I think is important to mention is the clinical trials that we do. So we use a scientific approach when we're choosing the actives and designing the product. But then once we've made the finished product, we also run clinical trials and do other scientific testing on the finished products. So whether we're doing dermatology testing or skin sensitivity or blue light or UVA, UVB, or we're doing our in-house clinical trials so that we can show what is the impact of this product on your skin. What are the user experiences? But also, if we take physiological measurements, how does this product affect skin health?
Yeah, in the long term. Yeah. And again, that just comes down to, you know, this isn't just we don't just test on a skin that might have, you know, a concern of some form or anything like that. It is people that just want general skin health. So it's you know, like everyone on this call, our main goal is general skin health. So this isn't just for people that might have a concern. Yes, it's amazing for those people, but as an everyday makeup wearer, I want something that is going to be good for my skin, considering the amount of time and money I invest in my skin. I would hate to think I was putting something on it every single day that was then just almost throwing that out the window. So, you know, it is something that we think about it from a really 360 approach.
So this really becomes your third layer of skincare.
Yeah. It's never going to replace your skincare, and we would never say it does, but it definitely enhances it, I'd say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now we are going to do lots more of these little sessions that we've got going on, but time's run away with us already. So I just want to ask like one final question to you both, really. And like when you were sort of bringing SL to market, what's like your favourite active that's made the biggest impact in terms of innovation?
Oh, I think I can answer that pretty quickly.
Yeah, you go first.
So I actually think it's an active that's in our radiant foundation. It's hydractin, and it works like almost like the rainforest. It works like moss. So it's all about attracting moisture, retaining moisture, and protecting that moisture. And I just think it's so clever. And when you start thinking of it, like, and I think the reason it really resonated with me because I went to Malaysia just before we launched the Radiant Foundation, and I went to the mossy forest there, and I was surrounded by all this moss and this information on moss, and I was like, oh my God, the Radiant Foundation does this. I was like, it's amazing. So it really is all about not just retaining moisture, but you attract that moisture, and really how the plants work. And I just thought it was so clever, and to have that within a product, because our skins function in such similar ways, I just think it's such a brilliant active.
Yeah. I struggle to choose one.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, because there isn't just one amazing active. We have a whole range of individual amazing actives. But if I have to pick one today, I would say Blue Shield. And the reason is we are exposed to so much blue light from the sun. That's the one that's really having an impact on our skin. And the more research we're seeing, the more we're seeing the impact of that blue light on our skin health. And I think if one's looking for anything that's protecting from the sun, having Blue Shield and blue light protection is critical. So nowadays, even if I'm at home alone, I put on my foundation because my sun cream or my SPF doesn't have blue light protection in it, whereas my foundation does. So I put on my SPF and then I put on my foundation, because then I know I am more completely protected.
Like your safety blanket.
100%.
Do you have a favorite ingredient, Shah? I mean, you talk about the products day in, day out, probably more than we do.
Do you know what? I've got to say, in the Intelligent Skin Cream Foundation, hydrochrysom, because I just think that ingredient, I just think the fact even that, I mean, I know it's the synergy of everything in that product, but the fact in the pilot study that we increased hydration in the skin, like for a foundation product, that is absolutely phenomenal. Like, what foundation do you ever buy that can increase hydration, you know? So for me, that's my hero ingredient. And I do know, Gaby, it's the synergy of everything, but
my favorite word.
Synergy, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it is hard to pick because, like you said, we've got so many amazing actives, haven't we? And they're all doing such amazing functions and working well as a high performance makeup as well as skincare.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can't believe how quick the time's gone, guys. But I just
it's gone quick, short and sharp. That's what we like.
I know, but thank you so much for everybody that's logged in today. I hope that you found it informative, and like Nush said earlier, we are going to do lots more of these little sessions as well, where we can kind of midday masterclass log in and just learn a little bit more about the brand. Okay, but
thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.